Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Unfiltered. Now, this week we're joined by a presenter, a musician, a content creator who's got nearly 500,000 followers across all his social media platforms. He's also a work colleague of mine, but most importantly, becoming a really good friend. It's Quincy SMF. Hi, Quincy. Welcome to the show.
Yes, man. How are you, my bro Lee? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad. Good to see you again. I know we only saw each other a couple of hours ago, but... Before we find out about everything you're doing, I've just got a couple of quick fire get to know you questions that we're just going to run off, if that's all right.
Yeah, let's go for it, man.
Right, so first one, if you could switch lives with a character for a day, which character would it be and why?
Oh, I'm not sure. Wait, a character? If I could be one character, yeah, I'll be the Mask.
Okay, why the Mask?
I just feel like his alter ego is too cool.
Yeah, I love The Mask. It's one of my favourite movies.
Yeah, The Mask. It's one of my favourite movies, one of my favourite cartoons. Like,
yeah,
The Mask. I've always thought like the fact that he was fearless, yeah. Like,
yeah.
Or someone would bring out a gun and they'll shoot him, and then he would just put his finger on the trigger.
And I think it was good how they used like when he was Jim Carrey's human character, he was like a weak man, but then he became super confident when he put the mask on.
It was a crazy alter ego. Like the guy would literally put his finger on the nozzle of a gun that's about to be shot and then say, nah. Like, oh, he's just hilarious guy. And then he was charming. He was the life of the party. Everybody wanted to be his friend. But it was also intense. So I like the Mask. I think the Mask is probably... If I could be a character for the day, I'll have that mask. I'll just put it on and I'll just do a madness that day and take it off and be like, what the hell was that?
You could only eat one food for the rest of your life. What would it be and why?
It will be a jollof rice with jerk chicken. My mum's actually makes like a cabbage, where it's like a steamed cabbage with
oh, nice.
And it's like she puts butter and black pepper and a little bit of like seasoning in that. She whips it together. It's really nice with a meal. And what else would I have on the side of it? Fried fish.
Oh, okay.
Like Zach, the way we fry fish is a bit different to like fried fish from the UK. But yeah, that's probably how I'll eat it. Like that's my meal. Jollof rice with jerk chicken, a bit of fried fish on the side. Yeah,
steamed cabbage.
And some steamed cabbage with a long glass Fanta, like a Nigerian bottle Fanta.
If you could chat to one species of animal, which animal would it be?
If I said, I'll say felines, but all types of cats. So like lions, panthers, normal cats.
And what would you want to
know? What they really think of humans.
I've got two cats and I always wonder what they're thinking about us.
Yeah. Sometimes you can kind of tell as well.
Yeah.
Like, and they kind of give away... With dogs, their emotions are very simple, so you can almost tell how they're feeling. Like,
yeah.
But with cats, you don't know. So it's almost like, when I walk past a cat that's just outside someone's house, I'm always thinking, like, what's going through your mind right now? Like, are you thinking to pounce at me? Why are you staring at me like that? Like, other types of animals you can kind of tell, but cats you just can't.
Yeah, they're very intriguing, aren't they?
Yeah, very intriguing.
What's the craziest thing you've seen on the internet lately?
Oh, but the internet's just a crazy place. The craziest thing I've seen on the internet. Oh, it was a guy, yeah, sitting with his girlfriend in the car, yeah, and the wife was saying to him. The wife was saying to the camera, like, oh, this is my husband of like 4 years. No, this is my husband of like 14 years, something like that. We've got 4 kids. And I'm having a child by another man, but it doesn't matter because we're going to stick with each other through thick and thin. And then the man kind of confirmed what she was saying by saying like, oh, yeah, that I don't care how you were raised, but I was raised to stick by my woman through thick and thin. So if this is what we're going to go through, this is what we're going to do, and I'm going to love that child. I just thought, what?
That's some Jeremy Kyle stuff.
Yeah, I just woke up and said, you know what? Sometimes the internet is such a crazy place, man. It's packed with madness. That's why if someone asks you, like, what's the craziest thing you've seen on the internet? It's almost, you can't even remember because your mind's always getting refreshed. Like,
100%.
With rubbish again and again and again. Like, so... I don't know, the internet's just a crazy place. But I think to me that was just so absurd. I just thought, why? It's over if you have a child with someone else. Like
Exactly.
you know, it's over. That's all. But apart from that, nah. Stay off the internet too much. Like I like to getting back into watching films and stuff, and like because there will be times I'll be on the internet so much, and just losing track with other things that I had interest in, almost to the point where I just feel myself like getting whisked away in so much other palaver that's nothing to do with me. You know? For me, it's like having a balance because like
Yeah.
with my page, I talk about things that are about me and my experiences, but then I also talk about things that's current. So
Yeah.
in order to know what's current, you have to be online and you have to at least be in the know of what's current, or get your algorithm to a point where it kind of brings you in to what what you might have been
Exactly.
like, what you might not been aware of right now or stuff like that. So I think for me, it's more like down to things like that, like trying to just be more aware with things that's current, but not feeding into it. Just looking at it more from like an educational standpoint. Like,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Oh, that's what you're talking about. Like, one thing I like about TikTok is like if you're not aware of what they're talking about, they might be talking like in the slang, or they might say something. There's always like a little hyperlink that you can click on that will kind of give you an explanation as to what they're talking about.
Yeah.
But sometimes with TikTok, the way people do posts is quite intriguing. They'll talk about something halfway through it. So it's almost like you're like, whoa, 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 what are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? It's almost like you've come to the conversation like 5 minutes too late, but like now you really want to know what they're chatting about. So that's one technique I've learned with TikTok. They do that kind of stuff. Like, so while they're doing that, of course, it's going to bring people in. It's going to draw people in, but at the same time, people are not really aware of what the conversation is about. So what you end up seeing is like a link, which like the word will be highlighted. You can click on that word, and it's like you'll see a million other posts about it, or where people are talking about it, where you can now get knowledge about what they're chatting about, which I think is quite interesting. Is more synced into what people are interested in comparison to other apps like Instagram. Click on the comments, you see like, oh, what is... Someone might put a comment and be like, oh, what is whatever you're talking about? Let's say, for example, someone is talking about, I don't know. There's so many things people say that you just don't know what it means.
Yeah.
Especially with youth of today. Like, they say things and it's like, what does that mean? Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean by that? And then like, where they now know that you're not... Where they now know that you don't know what they're talking about, they're now in more control. So they kind of feel like, you don't need to know. I ain't gonna tell you, sort of thing. So one thing I've learned is that you kind of have to like almost understand where they're coming from, and then you kind of get a lot more feedback on it online
Yeah.
with the algorithm. So I don't know. With that, it's like I use the internet more from like my entertainment, but for educational thing.
What would the title of your autobiography be?
Quincy. Well, the autobiography by Quincy. What would it be? I made it happen.
So, as we said in the intro, we're work colleagues and we help support young people who find it hard in mainstream education. What led you into that field of work, and why did you decide to take that route?
Do you know what? It didn't. I didn't. It wasn't on purpose. Like, okay, I was a TA. Right.
So, what made you become a TA in the first place?
Well, to be fair, my mum was a teacher,
Right.
and then at one point I was like, I was in between jobs, and then I got caught up doing some rubbish with other people, and then at one point, one of my friends that was like that I really respect, like he was like, "Oh, why don't you just be like a TA or something?" Like, because I was like, he goes to me, "Would you become a teacher?" And I was like, "Yeah, but I don't want to go to school right now. I don't want to go back to school."
Yeah.
So he was like, "Why don't you just be a TA?" And I was like, "Oh, do TAs get paid all right?" So, well, like, it's steady pay, and you always have
Yeah.
your weekends. You get better holidays. Like, I like working with the youth. And I like understanding where they're coming from. Like, and I feel like it still keeps me, like, I don't know, in cahoots with where they fight their interests. Like, I don't know. I was always one of them guys where like in school where I always thought, oh, oldest don't understand or they'll never get it. So I've always like kind of sworn to myself, where it's like, oh, I'm gonna find a way to understand where you're coming from, even if it doesn't make sense. Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna understand where you're coming from, and then from there I can show you where you might be going wrong. Because I grew up in an era where you were just told you're not going to do it properly, get out of my sight. Or if you can't do it, get out of my class. All this stuff, you know. There wasn't many adults that were giving people chances. But in that same aspect, I was in a mainstream school. Then I realized, okay, they weren't letting me grow. Then there was a person that I trained as a TA. Like she shadowed me for like a month because she was unsure. Then she got promoted. And we both went for the same role. And I was just like, what the hell? We both went for the same role and then she got it. So I just said, what the hell? So that kind of like irritated me. So I left them. I joined the agency first and I left them. And the agency gave me a couple of schools which are all right. Then she gave me a school in where is it? In Abbey Wood. It was I think it was a pupil referral unit.
Yeah.
And then that's what kind of like brought me into that mindset. Like, oh, no, I like working with these type of kids. Like, they're all different, and they're edgy, and they think in a way where I used to think, and there wasn't enough like people like us to working with them that can guide them on, or at least to school them or have a bit of patience with them, you know. At home with my parents, they weren't trying to hear that stuff. It would just be a quick slap, go upstairs, you know.
Yeah.
And then in school, it's like they're not trying to hear that. It's get out of my class, call your parents, suspended, expelled, you know, you get dropped sets or whatever it is. So I understood. I empathize with them in a way where like they were not given a chance as much. And some of them, yes, they may have pushed that school to the edge, yeah, but it doesn't mean that they should just be cast away. That's what kind of like builds a lot of this trust with society and government with kids, from the beginning. You know, like
100%. And I think I find, especially with our team, we've all got similar stories like that. So like we've all sort of had a journey through school that we didn't really enjoy. And we're trying to give back to others now to make it a better experience for them to be the best versions of themselves. So I think like, our team's a good team because we're sort of understanding. Do you have much backlash being a man working in schools though? Because like when I started working, I had my mates and I was down the pub a lot, and they used to take them only jokingly, but oh, look at you work with kids and stuff like that. They were builders and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Did you have that backlash being a man?
In my area, amongst my friends, I don't know. I don't know if you consider yourself in school. I was always, I don't know how to explain it. Would you say popular? I had a lot of friends in school, you know. But then this was something that even when I told my friends, they're like, oh, that you would be sick at that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's more like that. Or I get a lot of kids saying to me like, I wish you were my teacher. Like, if you were my teacher, oh, imagine if Quincy was your teacher. So it's like, and I think I kind of live up to it as well. Obviously, we work together, so you understand how the kids are with me and then how I am with them as well.
Yeah,
and I try my best to be balanced. Whether we have a laugh or whether I'm trying to like, let them know that this is not on. Like, I still feel like it has to be done fairly, you know.
100%. I think, like you said, all life is for everyone, young people, adults, is trust and fairness.
Yeah.
If you know where you stand with someone, good or bad, then you respect that person.
Yeah.
And I think like that's something you do very well, from what I've seen when we work together. And I think that's why the kids know where they are with you. They know when it's time to have a laugh, but they also know when you're being serious and when you're trying to guide them. So I think you've got that balance right.
No, it took a while. First, they looked at me like, oh, it's Quincy. Then I turned into Barney to them, like, you know, hey, let's have a good time. Like, what? Some of them will see me and just think it's playtime. I'm like, no, you're mugging me off. You're mugging me off. So and then I had to start like cutting cutting it short with them in terms of like, okay, look, it can't always be fun times with me, because if you look at me like that, like it's all well and good being in your good books, but then you have to be in mine, you know.
Exactly.
And I need you to be in your good book, because being in my good books is in your favor in terms of like your education, in terms of like how you view school, how you outlook on life. I'll help you. For them at that time, they just looked at it like, oh, especially when I first started, they just looked at it like, oh, yeah, Quincy's sick. Quincy's a good time, like, you know. And then at some point, you know, even at some point, you know, I had to be like almost checked upon that, you know.
Yeah.
So they had to, like, senior staff will let me know that, look, it's nice the relationship you have with them, but at the same time, you need to think about how you present yourself, like, and how it outlooks on the school and how it outlooks on everybody else. Like, it's nice what you're doing. You're not doing anything wrong in that department, but at the same time, have a balance. They can't always be your friends. They're never not even always. They're never your friends. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're your students, and in that respect, you have to understand that there has to be a balance. You can have a good relationship with them, but you can't have a relationship where they don't know, where they feel like they're your equal. Once they feel
Exactly.
like they're your equal in a classroom setting where there has to be hierarchy,
It's a problem.
It's a problem. It's a problem, yeah. Because then they feel that they can chat to you anyhow. You know?
See, it's weird. I was the other way. So when I started off in youth clubs, I got advice because I was only 17 when I first started working in youth clubs, and I got advice: don't let the kids walk over you. So I was very harsh, and I got pulled into the office once to be told you need to calm down a bit. Because every time a kid would like swear, I'd be like, right, out for the evening, out, like that. But it's because I got told, don't let these kids walk over you.
Yeah.
So I had to be brought down and say, no, you've got to, as you said, you've got to get that balance. Right, you've got to be firm, but you've got to be fair at the same time. Like the young people, you've got to let them make a bit of mistakes and stuff like that. But at first, I was very like, nope, don't do that, don't do that. I was very like militant.
I have a good balance. There has to be times where we laugh, and there has to be times where there has to be a bit militant. Like there has to be order, and that's the balance of life that they need, where there's fun and where there's focus. Like at the same time, if you have fun all day, it becomes boring at one point.
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
And if you focus all day, you know, it becomes tiring. You have to let go, let off some steam. So there has to be a balance. And I feel like overall, I want them to know that, you know, I think some of them find it challenging because they go through so much at home or in school or with their friends. So it's just a lot. And I feel like for them, escaping the madnesses they go through is the fun, quote unquote, what they deem as fun now, which may be mischief, which may be things that they're not supposed to be doing. You know, so I just my mindset towards working with children like that is because I was once one of them as well.
Yeah.
And I really respect the fact that they're trying still. You know, some of them could have easily just given up on school and said, I don't want to do this no more.
Exactly.
You know? And some have. And I wish the best to them because it's not an easy world, you know. But all I know is that every child I've worked with, especially when we work together, every child I've worked with, I would honestly say I put my 100% all in it.
I do agree with what you're saying about the caring side of things. I always said if there's ever a week where every day I hated it, because it's work, so you're always going to get moments that you don't enjoy, then it's time to go because the kids will pick up on it. They know if you're just there for a paycheck.
Yeah.
And in that environment, you can't do that in that environment because you're supporting people to be the best versions of themselves. If you're just there for a paycheck, it's not for you.
No, you're totally right. I've never been there where I'm just waiting to get paid.
Yeah.
And I remember jobs where I've had that, I like that. Like, to be honest with you, working there, my days never go so quick. Like, my days go so quick. Like, you look up, it's break time. You look up, it's lunchtime. You look up, they're going home. Then you're like, what?
What's happened there?
You know, through my day. And then I can't lie, another part of it is it's the staff, like the team I work with, the team that we work with together.
Yeah.
Like, we pull through a really tough term.
Yeah.
You know? So what we all managed to get through that way was really a lot. And it shows that how much like what's that word? Unity. We have that very strong unity that we can work together, and there was a lot of transparency with the communication. We were able to talk about it, and nobody was in their feelings. Everybody was able to understand people's perspective. Like, I even learned things about that in terms of communicating. And then even working with the kids, they teach me patience as well. I'm patient. I'm more patient with my partner. I'm more patient with my friends. You know,
Yeah.
because these kids will test your patience, and if you don't have the patience, you will lose it.
I was growing up, I was one of the most unpatientest people you would ever meet. Since
Same.
working with young people, I've gone the other way. I'm too patient sometimes now. But it's skill that you picked up, and you need patience in life. It's not.
I think for me, this is even my karma, because I was exactly like this when I was a kid. I would tell uncle, shut up. Like, I was just like these lot. Like, you know, all these madness that these kids say, I was just like that. So, and some of these uncles that I had, well, I look at them now, I just feel bad. Like, oh, I really gave it to you. You know, I didn't even have to do that. You know, and now I'm getting it from these ones. Like, shut up. I'm
Sense
like,
the
what?
karma.
Yeah, like, who you talking to? But, like, you know. But at the same time, I'm learning. It just gives me patience, teaching me a lot of patience, because I don't think I'll be able to have a relationship at this age if it weren't for the patience I've learned from these kids.
Moving on, like we said in the intro as well, you're a content creator. Again, how did you get into that?
I've always done things on social media where I just used to joke, but like, it was just with my following. My following was just my friends.
Yeah.
And all my friends would be like, "Oh, you're funny, you know. Like, you should do this thing. Do you do it properly?" Like, and I never really took it that serious. One of my boys was like, I started doing videos on Instagram. You know, I used to bust bare joke on Instagram, just laugh on Instagram, all that kind of stuff. And all my friends were like, "Oh, you're funny." And then one video went viral on Instagram, and then my friend was like, I was talking to my friend about it. My friend Tay. He was like, "Oh, you should do longer videos," and I was like, "Oh, Instagram don't let you really do videos that long."
Yeah.
And then Instagram then started letting you do it, so I started doing it a bit, and it used to work. You started to pick up a little bit, but it weren't as fast. It will pick up, but it was okay. Maybe you might get like 5,000 views or something like that. And it wasn't as what my TikTok does now. Like, so when TikTok first started, I still wasn't really on it. I was like, "Oh, I'm not doing this." Like, everyone's just dancing on TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm not doing 5-second videos for what? No, sort of thing. Then my friend sent me a video of some guy talking, and he was like, "Quince, you can chat for 90 seconds on there." And I was like, "Yeah, a minute 30. He was like, "Yeah, you can talk your rubbish, bro, and I reckon you might go off on there." So like, I tried it. I think the first video got like 8,000 views. But because Instagram have done stuff like that before, I didn't think it was anything. I just told Taylor, "Is this all right?" He's like, "Bruv, 80K ain't too bad for a first video." And then the second one hit like 12K. Then I was like, "Tay, does this happen for everyone?" Like, because I'm just seeing everyone's videos on like thousands. Like, is this like happen to everyone? I was like, "Well, I'm not gonna lie. For the first 2 videos, this ain't too bad." Then the third video went mad. I dropped one video where I was talking about Americans, about Black Americans think that they're only people that are Black. So yeah, it was very controversial topic. But I was already saying stuff how I normally say things. That I was ready to go for it. I think the first post I even did, I was going at vegans. I was like, "Oh, I'm not eating a watermelon burger." Like, I don't. So like that one kind of picked up, and then like the third video was me talking about Black Americans think they're the only people that are Black. And I explained that in the post. I was talking about how me and my brother, we used to go to New York every year. My brother's born in New York, and my mum used to handle some business in New York, so he used to go to New York every year. So like one day, me and my brother was crossing the road, and me and my brother were crossing the road, and then we was jaywalking basically. And policeman come up to us. We were only like, I think I was like 15, and the police and my brother was about 11, because we're 4 years apart. And my mum just let us go somewhere quickly by ourselves, and we were just happy to be on our own in New York. So we crossed the road, and the policeman said, "Oh, you guys can't do that. Y'all can't do that." And we were like, "Oh." sorry, man, we're not from here. Like, we just thought we could cross the road. Then he's like, oh, I thought I was black, man. I like that accent. I was like, what? What do you think you thought we were black? Like, so from that day, I always remember that. And I did a post about it, and that post went mad. Like, it went mad. I remember I put my phone down. I come back in an hour, my phone, I went to shower, have something to eat. And then I think I played like PlayStation or something. I checked my phone, and then my phone just kept all the like notifications of TikTok were just doing this.
Oh, pin, 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 pin.
Yeah. And I was like, what? I went on my phone, 500,000 views in an hour. So I said, what the hell? That. And this was all like positive comments. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm doing my thing. Because it was basically, it was like Europe had seen it. So they were just like all saying, yeah, it's true. Because you're getting all like the French black people, all the British black people, all the Canadian black people. They're all saying the same thing, like, yeah, Americans, why do they always do that? And then the Americans saw the post. Oh my God. The kickback, they probably gave it the extra million views. I think that video stopped on 3.5 million. But it was the Americans that went mad with that video because they did so many clapback. I wanted the video to stop going viral. It was offending people. I was getting so much people just clapping back at me. Couldn't believe it. Was fighting half a country, like fighting. And then I did another post about it, and then when I was like, I wasn't doubling back, but I was explaining my perspective, and then it hit 250,000, and the following started to grow. You know, in the first year, I reached 200,000, and then this is 2.5 years. So like right now we're on 310.
Was it, in your opinion, that you'd made it? Was it that third video, or was it the being recognised or the positivity? Or do you not feel like you've made it yet?
I don't feel like I've made it yet, no, because I haven't got made it yet money.
Right, so it's when you get the money, yeah.
I think it is the funds. Like, to me, it's more like, oh, I'm able to do this, and it can take care of like finance. It can take care of me financially. Now it does to a certain extent, but I still work. We still work together. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So like, it does to a certain extent. There are sometimes you get great brand deals. Obviously, the app pays me well. I've worked with TikTok themselves.
Yeah.
Even tomorrow, I'm going to the TikTok building. I'm a panelist for content creators that are over 6 figures. So I'm on the panel. Like, so there's certain things that I'm doing for like, and it's for black creatives as well. So I'm doing a lot of stuff in that department. I do feel like, yeah, I'm recognized. Like, the first time I realized that, wow, this is a lot, was when I went Carnival 2 years ago. The first year of the page going viral and all that stuff. And that first year I went Carnival, I got stopped every 5 minutes. Like, and my friends were like, what, Q, you've made it. And I was just like, I ain't made it yet until I got a lot of money. Right now, it just feels like I know everyone. Like,
yeah. And you're getting some great experiences.
Yeah, but now it's like, it's nice. I get stopped everywhere. I get stopped every day. And there's always nice things they say. I wouldn't say I've made it, but I would say I love the fact that it's recognised and it's appreciated the way it's supposed to.
Yeah. Quincy a character? Because obviously I know Quinton, and at the end of a hard day, you're the first person to come up and give us a hug, check in on us. But then you watch your Quincy videos, and it's giving controversial opinions, it's funny, it's a lot of energy. Is that just a hyper version of you, or do you see your Quinton and Quincy as your online persona?
Not an online persona, no. If you know me very well, you will know that that's Quincy.
Right, so you just Quinton turned up basically.
Yeah, like I'm Quinton at work because it's like you're at work. If I'm Quincy at work, I'll lose my job.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like because I'll be too much. They'll be like, oh no, he's a lot. Like Quinton and Quincy, it's still the same person, but it's different sides to me. So Quinton is more like, okay, look, you can still be funny, you can still be nice. You don't have to be so controversial with your opinion. You can understand where people are coming from. But then there's Quincy where he's like, you know what? I'm tired of being Quinton right now.
Yeah,
of being nice.
This is how I feel.
This is how I feel right now. And for me, it's helps because it helps me get off steam. I use it as like therapy. But I try not to offend people when I'm saying things. And like, I don't go at the LGBTQ community. I don't make fun of people of different race. I don't make fun of people of different religion. I don't make fun of people's wealth, you know, or how much you earn. I don't body shame. So if I'm able to still not do all them things and still be funny and still it be edgy, like then yeah, I feel like I found a good niche, you know.
Is it scripted? Do you think, right, here's an idea, and do you write a script and then do you go out and record? Or is it literally, I hit record and I go?
Recording, I go, like I hit record, but it's for me, my editing stop and start. So I'll start the recording. If I feel like I've said enough, I'll stop, give myself a second, think about the next thing you're going to say, go in like that. But then if I'm doing work with brands, then they want me to write a whole script. But I'll literally write the script exactly how I would have said it. So
Right.
it's not that bad. Like, so for example, I've done a brand deal with Bumble. They're like a dating app. So when they wanted me to do the video for them, I had to give them the whole script. And I was like, shot 1, shot 2, shot 3, shot 4. So I will do that. But in terms of like my own post, nah, I'll just go for it. I know exactly what I'm going to talk about. Once it's loaded in my head, I'll just go and I'll just do it. Like,
And how do you come up with the idea? Is it just flicking through the internet and think,
no,
I've got an opinion about that?
It's mostly through conversation. It's not even through the internet. There's times I might see something on the internet, and tell you what, those aren't really the posts that do what I expect. It's more. It comes really from like what I'm just thinking that day, or if I'm talking to a friend and he says something, I'm like, oh, you know what? I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Like, that's really how it happens. Like someone will say something, or I even get friends that are like, no, Q, you got to talk about this. Or I get followers that will say, DM me things like, talk about this. Or they'll DM me or talk about this, Quince. Like, nah, man, you ain't talking about this. People need to know how you feel about this. I'm like, me? Like, yeah, you just got to let the streets know. Like, so it's like, I feel like, yeah, that's what keeps me afloat. My following, I feel like I try to interact with them a lot. And when people see me on the street, I'm very accessible. I try not to be like standoffish or
Yeah.
So in that respect, with my followers, when they see me outside, I'm Quinton.
Yeah.
Because people will come up to me and be like, oh, I thought you were gonna shout at me. Or I thought you was gonna say, go away or fuck your mama. I thought you were gonna say something, but you didn't do that. You hugged me, you were nice. I'm like, yeah, what? Do you know what I mean? So I feel that's the balance. I can be Quincy online, and if you see me, I'm Quinton, then I'm not gonna be this bravado. But Quincy doesn't have a bravado. I just feel like Quincy's honest.
Yeah.
Like,
And not scared to say what he feels.
I'm not scared to say what he feels. And I feel like at work, respectfully, there doesn't have to be a time, you don't always have to say how you feel.
Exactly.
Sometimes just go with the punches. It is what it is. If you like being there, then accept it and get on with your day. But outside of it, I can say how I feel, you know? As long as I'm not offending no one. And sometimes my opinion might offend you, but
yeah,
it's never that
I'll
deep.
be honest, one that has sort of not offended me but shocked me a little bit was one I'm flicking through tonight, and you go with the old people, and it's true what you're saying, but I thought, oh, he actually went there.
No, because you know what, for me is I'm not looking at it like, if I see an old person, I hate them. No, it's more from a perspective like if you can't understand where youth are coming from,
They don't have an opinion.
Because you always want us to listen. And for me,
Yeah.
one thing I would say, although I was because even when I was younger, I was Quincy, I would tell you shut up if I wasn't going to hear it. But if I wanted to hear it, I would really listen, you know. And I wasn't always disrespectful to elders, but there were some elders that deserved some disrespect, and I didn't give it to them. So for now, it's like that almost that
release, like you said.
Yeah, that release or that promise to my younger self that no, get that off your chest, you know. Because I had some elders that in my family, not my family, that I grew up with, that this things that were so irresponsible, but because they were older than you, you couldn't dare say anything about it.
Exactly, you had to listen and you had to agree if they were right, but you know in your head they're not right.
Yeah, but the age of my life where I might be making my own decisions, and then these same seniors that are now probably in their like 60s are judging me off mistakes that I'm making now.
Yeah.
And these times they've made darker mistakes. I remember when you were younger and you did this to auntie so and so, or when you did this to auntie this and that, or when you cheated on auntie with so and so. At this same age I'm at now, and I wasn't doing the things that are as bad as you, but you have the feeling to judge me. Shut up, you know.
No, exactly.
Yeah, that's my perspective. If a senior person comes up to me and he's telling me about his day or how it was back in his day, I would love to hear it. I'm very nostalgic. I'll be like, oh no, that's cool. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'll take a lot of things on board. But then if you're gonna say that you had it rougher, I don't believe so.
No.
I feel like it's rough in every element of every decade. It's never worse, it's never better. It's always the same. Roughness, badness is badness. You can't come and say that your element or your era was rough when it wasn't. Because if we look at some parts of your life or how you grew up, it was quite good.
Yeah.
McDonald's just opened. Big Mac was 70p.
Exactly.
Bus journeys might have been 5p a journey. A pound was good dinner money, you know. So let's be honest, if you had a job and you were getting paid £10 a week, that's good money for how you grew up, you know. And this I'm talking about maybe in the 30s. That doesn't mean that I'll tell you to shut up. But if you're gonna say that we're soft now or this and that, or nah, I'm not having it. Because these kids have it rough. These kids have it rough. They're living in
100%.
the toughest economic state ever. The violence with the kids is worse than what I grew up with. And I got stabbed. And they carry the craziest knives that you can hunt deers with. To adjust to so much, even in terms of like how you recognize people, whether it's they, them, whether they're cis male, cis female, you know, like they have to adapt and learn so much more. Yeah. They have to accept so much more. They have to be aware of so much more.
And I think they have to take on so much more for an early age.
They got to take on so much more. They will have to see, and this is not a shame or slate to anything, but they just have to be aware of so much. They have to take in so much more off the rip. They may have a friend that has two dads, and it's not a stepdad. They don't have a mum. They just have two dads, and they'll just have to learn. Okay, this how, you know. Like if I was a child back then, you would have dared not seen that.
No.
You know, and it's
No,
not
I
a bad
agree.
thing what they're having to adjust to, but they just have to adjust to more. Like when the older I am, the more I realize how simple things were.
Yeah.
Like and how.
But then, like you said, at the time we felt it was hard because for our era it was hard.
It was hard, and that's what I'm trying to say. No era was worse than any era. Everybody had it difficult, you know. Like one thing I can say that the youngest have now that's easier is more acceptance.
Yeah.
Like if someone is gay, when I was growing up, you're getting bashed in. You couldn't walk holding hands with somebody, you know?
No.
But now I'm walking in places that I grew up in where you would have dared not tried that 10 years ago, and people feel more comfortable to do that. I feel like value for people is a lot different now. Like value for mental health is a lot different now. You know, back then, yes, you couldn't talk about you've got sad mental health. They'll just sack you, you know.
Yeah.
But now you can actually have that sort of courtesy and time off where they accept that that's what you're going through, you know. So yeah, in that aspect, it's easier. But then if you want to balance it, it doesn't even up me.
No, exactly.
If you're a parent, I can only imagine what it's like when your teenage son says he wants this jacket, or when he says he wants these shoes. Like, I remember I was getting a quick backhand in my mouth for my mum because I wanted Air Maxes that were £90. If I told my mum, if my friend's got a son that's 17, if he came home and said he wants shoes for £90, his dad would probably jump in the air for joy because the way shoes cost now are expensive. Like, you might put a one
My
before that
son's
number.
17, so I know exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's gonna come up to you and say
100%.
he wants the Air Max 2023. That one day is going for £210. You're like, where the hell am I going to get the money? Or he wants a PS5 he wants.
I
These
got that
shoes.
last Christmas. Luckily, this year I've only got that he wants COD. which is £70, which I'm quite
See?
thankful for. So,
But even that £70
exactly.
for a game, like the other day, what did I buy the other day? What did I buy for the other day? I bought the EA for my cousin, for my little cousin. I think the EA 23, because he just
Yeah.
wanted that one. And then I downloaded it on his PlayStation, and it cost me like 60 £60. And I was like, for a game,
What
like
the? Yeah.
I was
That's
like,
how much we were paying for consoles.
yeah, I started shouting like for a game, £60. Like back then, I could have bought me 3 games. Like,
Yeah.
like £60. I couldn't believe it. Like, so what they go through is a lot different. They grow up in an era where everything just costs more. They want more. They have to absorb so much more.
Yeah.
Life was simple for people in terms of youth. The youth, I always compare it to the youth. I feel like the youth have it harder now
Well,
than
100%.
they've ever had it. I think the last time the youth had it this time was like World War II, where kids were getting separated from their families. So what they have to deal with is crazy. It's crazy. Like it's crazy. So and we see it firsthand.
Yeah.
Because even my childhood, when I remember being the age, I don't remember it being this hard. I was
No.
getting home for 40p, you know.
Exactly. Going swimming for £1.
Going swimming for £1, you know.
Yeah.
McDonald's was two apple pies for 89p, mate. Me and my boys
Exactly.
split it. Like, you know, even just like even back in the day, I used to smoke a lot. I used to smoke a lot of weed back in the day. Even back then, I heard one of the kids, like they not. I just heard one of the kids just talking, and then they were just talking about how much their friend outside smokes. I was just like, what? And I said, yeah, he spends like £200. I said, £200.
That'd be
Said, for
like years
what?
worth.
Said, for what? Like, because they were talking about this boy that they all know. I think they all know this boy, like, and this boy's like maybe like a couple of years older than them, but he's known to smoke a lot, sort of thing. So like the way they was talking about the boy, it was like, yeah, he smokes bare. That he spends about £100 a week. I said, £100 a week? Like, and he will go through it. 3 days will buy another. I said, wait a minute. What's he smoking? Dust? Like, is he smoking gold? Gold dust? Like, what's this? Like, he was like, yeah, that weed's just expensive. And I was just like, so on an average, what would he spend a day on this weed? He goes, yeah, like £40. I said, £40. Like, I couldn't believe just the metric system of
So it's changed.
how things have changed. Like like back then when I was their age, when we was being naughty like that, like £10 was split it between 5 of us.
Yeah, exactly.
But now it's like you can't eat the £10 way. You dare not like ask that dealer. No, like the era what they have to grow up in terms of this the economic state is quite sad. They have to adjust to a lot. Like they have to adjust to a whole lot. When I see what some of the kids wear to school, I'm like flipping out, man.
I know, yeah. It
Like
does surprise me as well.
that's a lot. Like those are
Yeah.
£400 trainers. Like that's a £200 coat. That's a £600 coat. Like and they just wear it. So it makes you almost fear for them because if we know how much it costs,
Other people gonna know.
do you know what I mean? Like these kids
Exactly.
must know how much it costs, and you're hearing what they'll do for anything nowadays to take it off you. So it just makes me worry as a whole, like what they have to go through. It makes you just worry, like, oh.
And especially for myself having teenage children,
Mm-hmm.
it is a worry. Like I'm thankful in a way my children prefer playing computer and stuff like that. So they're not out
Yeah.
all the time. And in a
Mm-hmm.
way, I'm a bit thankful because at least I know where they're sitting.
It's true. I read an article about parents being happy that their children are gamers because they're able to at least keep tabs on where they are,
Yeah.
and at least they're at peace and at least they're happy. But then at the same time, you do want them to have a balance, that have friends outside, go out, you know. But it
Because
does.
I was very social when I was younger, and I feel like what I learned there helps me with what I do now. So if I didn't
Yeah.
have that experience, I feel like you said, it is a dangerous place out there. But the fact that my children miss out on that, as you said, you need a bit of both.
Yeah. No, it's true. You're totally right. But I feel like at least your heart's at rest, at ease, because you know that they're at peace, they're happy, they're comfortable. You're not like say you're just locking them up and telling them they can't go out. They're
Yeah,
choosing to stay, which is good.
exactly.
They wanna just do their own thing. And look, these gamers are making money.
Yeah.
Like these gamers, if they come home and say, "Dad, here's ka-ching, thanks for the PS5. Here's what I've made from it." Yeah, you're winning. But for me, my naughty experiences as a kid and being cheeky and running around with these group of people, or getting into trouble with these people, or even getting in trouble myself, it's built Quincy. It's built the person who I am.
Exactly.
It's built the way I am with the children. Like it's built the experiences I can tell them, you know. Um, Especially some of the boys that they think they're street, and I telling them like, look, you know, like, and sometimes when I tell them, they're like, "Wow, Quincy, you've been through that," and they're like, "Yeah, like, you know, I've
Yeah, don't
seen my
come at me
friends."
saying you're straight.
You know what I'm saying? And it's not even like to prove, oh, I'm street like you. No, it's almost like that life is dead. Like
Yeah.
I always try and tell them that life is not cool, you know. What you really want to be is that guy that's got his little nice car, he's got his little nice partner, he's got a cheeky little job, he's happy, he's got his friends, you know, when he's older. It's where especially there's a few students that I'll talk to because they like money. So I always tell them,
Yeah.
like, I want to be in the car park with you and we're laughing about the colour of the car we picked, you know.
Yeah.
Like what you got? Like we're so rich that we're like, what you got the Lambo in yellow? Ugh.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I got the Ferrari in red, and look, and then you're cussing the Ferrari like, ugh, Ferrari in red. I want to got that. You know, I want us to be that rich, like, you know. I don't want to be that person where, because I always joke with them, like, I'm gonna get my Lambo and I'm gonna drive past you
Yeah.
regardless. I want to, like, regardless. I want to see you on the motorway in your little Aston Martin, like, oh, you got the Lambo, cheap stuff. I got the Maybach here. I got the Rolls Royce. I want you, you know. And they laugh like when I say that to them because they're like, I can see that. So I want to be in the Blue Water car park with you. See you like what? So and so, you got the nice little G wagon. And then you feel like you got up one of me, and I just pressed the alarm on my car, and you're like, "Wow, you got the little you know, yeah, yeah."
Well, quick,
So
we're coming to the end of this conversation. Where can people find you if they want to see your stuff?
if you're looking for me, you can find me on all platforms, Quincy_SMF. I'm only on Instagram and TikTok.
I'm going to put the link in the description below. Just
Yeah,
got a couple of would you rather questions, and then one last question to end off.
cool.
I've got a would you rather game, and I've literally just pulled out 6 cards, so I don't even know what's on here myself.
Go on.
So the first two is: would you rather have toes for fingers or have everything smell bad forever?
I'll, everything smell bad. How bad is
Forever.
bad?
Bad,
How
bad,
bad?
bad, forever. Or toes for fingers.
No, I'll have everything smell bad.
Would you?
Yeah, I
At least
can't have
with
toes for fingers, man.
I
No,
hate
no.
feet, but at least you can learn to use them as fingers. But just the spat. I suppose you'll get used to the bad smell, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'll get used to the smell.
Like we grew up around Thames with that the sewage smell
Yeah,
for
exactly.
years.
Like I've
So
smelled bad things for a long time, man.
yeah,
I'm going from Thamesmead in the summer where the river's smelling. No, no, no,
exactly.
no.
So I think
I'm good.
actually you're right. I think that's a good shout. The next two have roller skates for feet or fight off 20 duck-sized unicorns every time you go to the restroom.
Roller skates for feet.
Yeah, I think so.
That's a
That was a
long
bit of
fight,
a,
especially if you really need to piss. Like,
yeah.
oh
And there's
no,
20 of
no.
them at you. You know. And unicorns, they've got the horns.
Yeah, they got the
It's not
horns,
worth.
and I got to fight
It's not
them.
worth
No,
the
no.
hassle.
I'm good.
Right, last one is feel like you are sitting on pins every time you sit down, or get bitten by a dog every time you go outside.
Oh, man. I feel like I'm sitting on pins.
Yeah, I agree. I got bitten by a dog once and it weren't very nice.
Nah,
So,
that's a long day. Every time you step outside, I gotta go to work.
yeah,
Nah,
exactly.
nah.
Well, Quinton, it's been an amazing time. Thank you so much. And please come back on.
Come on, man. Anytime, my bro, man.
Before we finish, and this question I ask every guest, if you could be remembered for one word and one word only, what would it be and why?
Real.
Perfect. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. I would like to be remembered as real. I feel like I take a lot of pride in being honest and being genuine. So I would say real, yeah.
Well, brilliant. Thank you again so much. And guys, please get clicking on the link below and check out Quincy's stuff. It is hilarious.
Take care, my bro.